by verse, precept by precept. Please join us each weekday at 5 p.m. for Summons right here on KELP.
You are listening to KELP El Paso. Feed your mind, feed your soul at 1590 AM, 95.9 FM. Streaming worldwide at KELPradio.com.
915 Talk is a production of Desert Voice Media. You can visit desertvoice.media to learn more.
915 TALK.
The world is looking at El Paso.
What will we say to the world? From the KELP studio in El Paso, this is 915 Talk.
And now your host.
Good afternoon, beautiful citizens of the borderland. This is 915 Talk, and I am your host, Andy Frecca. Today we are broadcasting yet again from the heart of the world's largest borderplex. We're here at the KELP studio in El Paso, and we have Mac Daddy Del Norte on the board. Mac Daddy, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Andy?
Well, you know, this is episode 267.
Wow.
Yeah,
that came out good.
Of 915 Talk. Was
Nice.
that pretty good?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
267.
There you go.
Yeah, we're just powering through.
Yep.
We continue on this educational journey as we learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh man. 267. Mac Daddy Del Norte.
Yeah, that's a good number.
It's like the radio show that never ends. It keeps on going on and on, my friend.
Yep.
Some people started it not knowing what it was.
Mm-hmm. True. True.
No, but this is truly a highlight of my day each and every day, and I hope for our listeners it is as well. And so, Mac Daddy Del Norte, today we're going to be talking about our county.
Okay.
Yeah, El Paso County.
El Paso County.
Yeah, here we are. Did you vote in the primaries?
Yes, I
You
did.
did?
Yes,
You
sir.
are a model citizen.
Yes,
my
sir.
man.
I am.
It was, and I did as well.
Nice.
Allow me to say that.
Nice.
It was kind of interesting. I went to the polling station. There were literally like candidates standing outside the polling station.
Yeah, that is true. Actually,
I was surprised that that's even legal. I figured. When I lived overseas, you couldn't do that.
Oh,
as a matter of
wow.
fact, all the yard signs would have to be out like on the day of voting, the billboards down. But in the land of the free and the home of the brave, you can just right down to the wire. You can push and push. El Paso County Judge. You've been a part of this educational program,
Yes,
Mac
sir.
Daddy Del Norte. What does the El Paso County Judge do?
judges. There we go. Can I get an applause?
No. No. You need to do the hit the other sound. The one where you did it completely wrong. Yes,
There we go.
There you go, the buzzer. The El Paso County Judge is not a judicial position.
Oh man.
Mac Daddy Del Norte.
Oh man.
As you know, I'm going to put it this way, and our guests can correct me later on. But it's kind of like a mayor of the county mayor, okay? And we have commissioners court, and you have county commissioners, and they get together in the commissioners court, and the county judge presides. And they make votes. Today they had a big vote. We're going to be talking about that here in a little bit, okay? So the county judge is kind of like the mayor, but actually they're more powerful than the mayor.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on the radio, but like
Interesting.
During the COVID pandemic, it was the county judge who shut down the county, and they could do that as one person.
Oh wow.
So that's pretty interesting.
Well, thanks a lot.
That sounded sarcastic. Like Daddy.
A little.
Yeah, we're supposed to say objective. Like
Okay,
Daddy Del
okay,
Norte.
okay.
So today we have, we need to say this. She's former FBI. Former FBI. So
That is very true.
one thing I've learned, when you're talking to FBI or former FBI, always tell the truth.
Always.
Because they could tell.
They will know. Oh, man.
So she's also former El Paso Police Department, but then she ran for county judge on the Republican ticket,
Yes, yes.
and she won.
Yay.
Yeah, so she's the El Paso County Judge Republican candidate. So without further ado, let's give a very warm Borderland welcome to the one and only Minerva Torres-Shelton.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that great introduction. And I love how you were asking about what the county judge does, because that has been one of the biggest challenges, trying to educate or inform people on what the county judge does. And I think if more people knew the power and the role of the county judge, everybody would come out and vote on November 3rd.
You know, Minerva, it's so interesting. It's almost like Texas intentionally misnames different political positions so we won't know how important they are. The other one is the Railroad Commission, which has nothing to do with the railroads. We had Railroad Commissioner Christy Craddock on this program last year. It's an incredibly powerful body. They basically preside over maybe the largest natural gas and oil deposit in the world. And they're called something that is completely misleading.
Yes, very true. Very true.
And in Texas, we have county judges. So every county has a judge. But is it fair to say it's kind of like the mayor of the county?
It is. That's how I describe it.
Yeah.
Some people say it's like the CEO of the county, but you know, I think if you tell people it's like the mayor of the county, then people get it. Like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Right.
So yeah, sets priorities, decides how the budget is a voting member in the county commissioner's court, but decides, how our money is going to be used. So yeah, it's and right now we're in a deficit.
Yeah.
We have a bloated budget, and we need to change that.
Okay, so congratulations on winning the Republican nomination
Thank
for
you.
county judge.
Thank you.
This is kind of a weird time, I would imagine, when you're running for office, because I imagine it was a mad dash up to the primaries, and now the general election is only in November. So that seems really far off.
It seems if you're not the candidate, but if you're if you're the candidate, yeah, there's so much to do, and obviously the biggest, I think what all the candidates try to do, and that's how you were mentioning that we would stand right when you show up to vote.
Yeah.
It's because it's about name recognition. We have a
Right.
lot of people that show up and they don't know who they're going to vote for. So yeah, we're going to give it that one last try to get to the voter, to ask them for their vote. So yeah, it's name recognition.
Right.
Which costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money
I could
to
only
try.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have someone on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is 915 Talk, and they're saying in other states it's called the county executive. But it's here the commissioners court gets together. How many commissioners do we have?
So we have a total of, counting the county judge, we have 5.
Okay, 5. And the county judge does vote in every decision?
Doesn't have to.
Oh.
Yeah, doesn't have to.
All right.
But
will you vote in every decision?
You know what? I am who I am. I think if you follow me on social media, people describe me as a straight shooter. I am opinionated. I give my opinion, and I back up why I say what I believe in. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with voting.
Right.
We have the current county judge who does vote in everything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I think in the city, the mayor only votes to break
a tie.
Yeah, to break a tie. So that's a very different situation. What did you learn? What have you learned so far while running for county judge? I know you've been out there. Last time you were on this program, you were talking about knocking doors. I think out in Socorro, Horizon City area. What are you learning as you talk to our neighbors?
that people are very worried about. I mean, people are being taxed out of our own homes, and people wonder, where is our money going? And that's because of the lack of visibility that we have in our county government. I mean, just until recently, because I've been calling them out about the lack of transparency, now the current judge gets up and says, oh, good morning, we're having county commissioners court. And I thought, did it take that long? Did it have to take pressure for you to do that? Like, that shouldn't be, that's the people's court. That belongs to us. Elected officials serve us. And so there shouldn't be anything secretive about, the votes or what's happening. And I mean, I've been doing this for a while now on social media, calling them out. And recently they came out with a transparency portal. What does that mean? It means that now you can go into their transparency portal and look up our budget on what, how much money it's going to each section. And of course, I am going through it very carefully. But I'm glad that it's moving in that direction. But why did it take so long? Yeah. And is it going to stop? Is it going to stop, or is it going to continue? And I think the only way we get it to continue is by putting pressure.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you need name recognition. You said it's expensive. The current county judge, Ricardo Samaniego, has been on this program before. We will welcome him again. He's a household name, I believe, in El Paso County. What will it take for you to win?
So is informing the public, and that's what I've been doing. So that's why I said November to me is right around the corner, because I have to inform the public. I have to knock on tons of doors. And this is an excellent question, because the current county judge spent $40,000 the last time I checked, so it could have been a little bit more, $40,000 in his primary with no Democrat opponent. But he needs no name recognition, but he was already campaigning. When I was knocking on doors, I found out that he already had people knocking on doors. Why? He's not taking it lightly. He wants that power. And I think this is one of the things that is getting us in trouble, because campaigns are very expensive. When you start having donors give you a lot of money, right? Because we do have a set of people who will donate. It's kind of what I call the establishment. They want to maintain control. So how do they maintain control? Is by funding candidates. So if I take donations from the establishment, I will no longer serve the people. I will serve the establishment. So what I'm doing is I'm asking the people for their donations, whatever they can donate, $5, $10, $15. Everything helps. A yard sign, what you see outside of a regular home, that yard sign costs $5. Just the yard sign. That's not counting the banners and all that. So I think that's what gets some candidates in trouble. When you start accepting those big donations, once you get elected, they're going to come out. Okay,
so we're talking about what it costs to run a campaign. You said you're accepting donations. What is your projected budget?
So my budget, which I'm working very hard to get to, is to raise $50,000.
Okay.
That's like, okay, this is what I need in order to accomplish everything I have. But here's where
that seems significantly less than the numbers I heard from even the mayor race.
Yes, which they spend $200,000. But this is why I was going to explain that is the projected. Do I want to raise more? Absolutely. So I have people who are donating their time, resources, full time, like people who want change because they are tired of what has been happening to El Paso for years. And so that's why I called my campaign the movement of the people. This is not about me. It's about all of us taking control of our local government, because for so long, people didn't even realize what was going on. Because again, the lack of transparency. So that's one of the things that I try to do through my social media is do very small videos informing the public. We're having an important county commissioners hearing. Please participate. Please call in. So I try to give visibility to the courtroom. And that's why I said they recently came up with a transparency portal. And it's like, why did it take pressure from the people? That should have been automatic. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the people.
Right.
So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Sure.
So it's not, yes, I mean, if I were to be paying my campaign manager, my strategist, my volunteer coordinator, just people like, really, I am humbled by the amount of support that I receive from people who are given their time, like saying, we got this, we'll do this. I'm your volunteer coordinator. I'm your strategist. I'll look at the numbers. I'm your campaign manager, and I'm not paying anybody any money because we are all about changing El Paso to where it works for the people.
Okay, so a little bit later in this program, we're going to be talking about some of the big challenges ahead for the community. I think that a lot of people feel like nothing can be changed. So I do want to hear your input on that. If you're just joining us, we're with a Republican county judge candidate here in El Paso, Minerva Torres-Shelton. I think this is the third time you've been on this program.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Episode number 268.
Right.
268.
So very good to have her on. And if you have questions for her, you can submit those via YouTube. 915 Talk is the YouTube channel. On Facebook, KELP Christian Radio. You can use the KELP radio app. You can message the studio there. Or Mac Daddy Del Norte, we're going to open up the phone lines, 915-779-0016. We didn't tell Minerva we're going to do this, but she's former FBI. She can handle a phone call. So, 915-779-0016 if you have a question for Minerva, or if you have a thought about El Paso County. We're going to go into a break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
915 Talk is listener supported and is a production of Desert Voice Media. That's right. It's people just like you who make this program possible. Together with Desert Voice, you can learn how to better serve our neighbors and pray for our community. To become a Desert Voice Media partner, you can visit desertvoice.media. That's right. That's the website, desertvoice.media. Take a look and join us today in reaching our borderland for Christ.
Thank you for listening to KELP Radio. I am Pastor Drew Cook from Coronado Baptist Church in West El Paso. Join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. for 2021 Radio. In John chapter 20, verse 21, Jesus says, "As the Father has sent me, even so I am sending you." Our prayer is that as you hear God's word, you would be strengthened, anchored, equipped, and sent to fulfill the ministry that God has given you to do.
Tune in to KELP Radio Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. for 2021 Radio from Coronado Baptist Church.
915.
Testify.
When I was 11 years old, my parents had an abusive relationship that ended with a divorce. My father began drinking excessively and my mother left us. I took responsibility for my siblings, but in the process, I built up aggression and anger because I didn't have a normal teenage life. I began fighting and got kicked out of school. My last fight led to charges being pressed against me. I was on the path to juvenile. Thankfully, it did not go any further. I was given community hours. In search of a place that could help me, I ended up in church. During the worship practices, I fell in love with the music they played for God. I was asked if I wanted to sing with the band. I automatically said yes. I married the worship leader and now have 2 beautiful kids. God rescued me from the dark path I was on and molded me to the wife and mother I am today. He brought the peace that I was in search of during my teenage years. My name is Jeanette Delgado. If God did this for me, He can do it for you.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb
And by the word of their testimony.
Desertvoice.media.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
And we are back. You are listening to 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Freca. Today we're with Minerva Torres-Shelton. She is the Republican candidate for El Paso County Judge. And we received this comment on YouTube. Anything to relieve the tax burden is welcome. It's crushing. Curious what she thinks about Escarate Park renovations. Do you have thoughts on that? That's the first time I've heard about renovations in Escarate Park.
No, it actually falls under the county.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So
Escarate's county.
Yes.
Okay, our beachfront property is county owned. Good to know.
Yeah. So Commissioner Stout has been having some meetings about some of the renovations that they're having there. But yes, I mean, it does need a lot of attention. A lot of people wish that they could focus more on the water, and because, it has a lot of problems. But yeah, they're looking for ideas on trying to take input from the community, and they have had several meetings. I went to their very first one to provide feedback on, on the renovations. But yeah, it's, I think that's one place that we could be focusing on. Instead of focusing on a deck plaza, we already have a park. We should be focusing on fixing what we have already and making it better.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to get to the deck park in this conversation, but that's interesting. Escarate is looking at renovations; those aren't free. Is the golf course part of the park? Is the golf course also?
Yes, I believe it is part of the park.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, but my youngest son is graduating from high school this year. He's on the school's golf team, and I went to watch him play golf, and it was. I'm just going to say probably more sand than grass, but it was he was having all kinds of fun. But it's a golf course I could play at because there's no trees to hit.
Yeah, I know, and and I don't want to be, I guess in a way negative, but I was there during the holidays and I only took a wrong turn because if you haven't gone there, you can only get out a certain way. So I'm stuck behind all these vehicles. And I start realizing, they're looking at the lights because it was during Christmas. That's why they were driving so slow. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like really, we can't do better for getting better lights. Some of those lights, I mean, they look like they were probably placed there back in the 80s, like some of the stuff that they take out. And that's why I said that instead of focusing on other big projects that are going to be very costly, why can't we focus on what we already have and fix what we have and make it better?
Right. Okay. And you said you've been looking at the county budget. That's a big part of the job of the county commissioner. What are some things that are popping out to you?
Well, they're obviously in a deficit. And recently I was looking at, because obviously they had talked about being in a deficit. And then all of a sudden the deficit went away. And I thought, well, how did they fix it? Like, how did they fix it? Then I found out that there was a meeting that they had. Obviously, this hasn't been publicized, but they're looking at even doing some furloughs to get us back on track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the thing is, with the budget, we just need to focus. One of the things that I want to do is I want to audit the budget.
Okay.
Audit the budget, look at what we're spending, and find anything that we don't need. Where can we cut back? Where can we cut back in the budget and make it, because again, we have a bloated budget. Just like I always use simple examples in any family, when somebody loses their job, what do? You cut back. Yeah. You're can we cut back on going out to eat once a week? Can we cut back us having Amazon and Netflix for movies? You're going to cut back. Well, I can't remember the last time the county has done that. And that's what we need to do to make things work for families, because we can't afford any more. I mean, really, like we pay so much in taxes. Like at what point I don't know why they don't decide to do certain things, because I watched them. The budget is going to be coming up really soon, so I'm monitoring that. But yeah, just watching it last year, you could tell that it was very hard for them to say no when certain departments went and asked for more money. And nobody wants to say no, but sometimes you have to because, I mean, we're at a breaking point.
Yeah. Okay, so I know you're active on social media, and occasionally you see something about financial transparency or spending. What are some of the posts related to the budget that seem to be catching traction or a big response from folks out there in Facebook land and so on?
So I'm the kind of person that loves information, and I won't be afraid to ever get up there and say, you know what? Okay, so now I've got new information, and I'll take back whatever I said. One of the discussions that I've been having right now is the amount of money that is going to overtime for constables. So I posed the question of what causes, and it just post the questions, you know, I'm asking the community, like, what drives this overtime? Because as a cop, since I was a cop before, I know what, you know, creates overtime. There was times where I just wanted to go home, and then you got dispatched to a late call. Now you're going to be stuck making an arrest. Now you're going to be working 3 or 4 hours. So I thought, well, what creates overtime for a constable? Because they are peace officers, but here in Texas and in El Paso, not Texas, but here in El Paso, they primarily serve civil process. So I thought, okay, so if that's what they do, what causes them to create this overtime? And then also the discussion that has taken off is because it seems that constables are getting to pay they go and work an off-duty job, which I worked off-duty jobs in the past as a peace officer. I never took a marked unit to where I was working. I worked for Dillard's for, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years. And so if I made an arrest at Dillard's, I would drive in my own personal vehicle. If I made an arrest, you call a marked unit. They come and pick up the subject, and then you drive your personal vehicle and you go do the paperwork. Why? Because it's an off-duty job. The Dillard's...
That you're getting paid, like in that situation, you're being paid by Dillard's. And so...
You're wearing the uniform, you're wearing the police uniform, at least I was, and was getting paid by Dillard's. So that doesn't involve taxpayer money, right? Because I'm not working for the city, right? So that started the conversation. Why are constables driving their marked unit to work either at Speaking Rock or Walmart? And the question I posed, are the taxpayers okay for using this money? But here's the bigger issue, and I think this is why I love to do my homework and look.
I think I saw that post. It got some excitement there on social media.
A lot of excitement. But here's the things that and I'm going to explain this in another video too, but that I want to explain to the public, okay? So now they're driving their marked units. As long as their policy, you're okay, right? You're driving that marked unit to Walmart or Speaking Rock. Going home, the deputy constable is driving home. God forbid something would have happened. There was an accident. Okay, who's responsible now? Is it the county? Is it Walmart or Speaking Rock? Or is it the constable deputy who's going to be responsible? So that's why I said as long as we have policies in place, then you're okay. But those are the things that people don't think about unless you've had tons of years of experience and you've been in leadership positions, and you realize that sometimes we might not like policies, but we're protecting. Here in this case, we're protecting the taxpayers, but also more importantly, we're protecting employees, the deputy constables, because what happens if something were to happen? Who's responsible? So those are the questions that I'm posing, and I'm asking the taxpayers, if they are working, which in this case they were, working an off-duty job, are you okay using taxpayer money to pay for the vehicle, because you got to pay the maintenance and all that, pay for the gas, And now again, the responsibility, because now the vehicle belongs to the county.
Yeah, I saw that post on Facebook, and I think a lot of people were saying, well, we need to support our finest in uniform, constable, sheriff's office, El Paso Police Department, whatever the case may be. You bring up an interesting point that in a way you're also protecting the officer.
Absolutely.
If it's unclear who's responsible, if there's an accident or
absolutely.
some other issue. But the other part of that is when I look at that, I'm like, well, how many constables are driving their marked unit to their off-duty job? That's probably not the biggest expenditure that the county has. There's probably hundreds of little, and I'm saying quote unquote little, expenditures like that across the county. And so where to even begin? So I do want to talk more about that. But first, I think we're about to take a traffic break. If you're just joining us with Minerva Torres-Shelton, she's the Republican candidate for El Paso County Judge. Always enjoy having you on, Minerva. But right now we do have Charlie One on the phone. Charlie One, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon?
Andy, first of all, we have some strong winds in the area and a little bit of blowing dust, especially in those open areas, so caution. But the trouble spot that we have, Andy, is I-10 West at Airway. We have a crash. It's on the left lane and shoulder. However, not too bad. It's slowing down a little bit of traffic, not too bad. Just slowing down to look at what's going on there. I-10 West at Airway. Just stick to your right lane. You'll be okay. This is on the left lane and left shoulder. I-10 West at Airway. Also, east side. Now, this is a busy intersection here. Joe Battle in Zaragoza, an injury crash. That just happened. PD en route. Joe Battle in Zaragoza. Northeast, Gateway South to Transmountain. We have a crash. That one on the taking up a lane there, Gateway South and Transmountain. There should be some shoulder activity going on there, so caution in these areas. Andy, back to you.
Charlie One, this afternoon we have Minerva Torres-Shelton with us in the studio. She's the Republican candidate for El Paso County Judge. If you could change one thing about the roads in our county to make them safer or less traffic, what would that be?
Oh, that's a loaded question right there. What to change the roads? Because whenever the thing is that whenever you change the roads, whenever you start construction, it just makes for a lot of that construction. Just the construction itself builds up traffic and everything. So I would, it just. Yeah, we could have it. I'd have to use magic to make those roads better because really, once let's say they're thinking of maybe expanding, let's say I-10 in downtown area. But to do that, you got to close off lanes, and imagine closing off lanes in that downtown area. So anytime, and then of course we've had that west side, that west side construction going on, and what that does eventually, yes, in a year, in a year's time you'll be fine, but after, until then, you're really in a situation where it's heavy traffic, lane closures, especially right now, that Thorn area, Mesa area, Artcraft area, you have that congested traffic until that, until they complete the project. Projects take time. And I would love to say, oh, yeah, well, let's widen up the freeway, let's widen it. But, it's easy to say, oh, let's widen the freeway. But when you do that, got to have construction. The construction brings another set of problems. So, I wish, Andy, that's all I can say.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, we're about to talk about the deck park here with Minerva, but Charlie One, I think when it comes to voting season, the next elections are in November, and between now and November, where is your vote when it comes to Menudo?
Menudo, you got to go to, there's a couple of places here, but during the week on East Side Choice Meats over on the Trailway, because they have that homemade menudo. It's in containers, but it's homemade, fresh, homemade, but it's in containers. You take it home with you and then put it in the refrigerator whenever you want to eat it. Maybe it's at your own leisure. Warm it up in the morning in the microwave or wherever, and it's just delicious and very. I'm not going to say it's nutritious. To me, it's nutritious. Really, fills me up good, but it's delicious. That's one thing I guarantee is delicious. At Eastside Choice Meats, Lumaland and Traywood, Andy.
Thank you, Charlie One. We'll talk soon.
You bet.
And we're back with Republican candidate for El Paso County Judge, Minerva Torres-Shelton. So Charlie One gave his opinion on the widening of I-10. I think, Minerva, when I look at that whole question of widening I-10, I heard even that the plan is to raise all bridges across interstates to 20 feet. And the deck project and all of these questions, I think a lot of people just throw up their hands and say it's so big, it's being decided by people behind closed doors. I don't really have a voice in it. What would you say to those people?
Well, I think that's when you're talking about voters, I think we have a lot of voters who stay home because they feel that way. They feel like your vote never changes anything, and that's exactly what they want us to do. They want to prevent us from voicing what we really believe. But ever since I started doing this, I feel like there's been more of a movement or people coming out, showing up. And I really believe is that people are just busy. They're working, going home to a family, going to their soccer games. And so that's why I think those small videos are very important, because if you are going to sit down after you had dinner and scroll through your social media, there might be a video there that'll catch your attention. And, you know, I've had numerous people tell me, and this is very humbling also. I had a lady tell me this story. She said, you know, I ran into your video one day and I started listening what you were saying. And she said, I never understood things until you put it in a way where I could understand. And she said, and my mother was alive at that time, and it got to a point because I would explain to my mother what you were saying, and she said it got to a point where her mom would say, Mija, can you check to see if she put out a video today? So I was like, that makes me feel so good. So that's why I do those small videos, because people are busy, they're raising families, they're working hard. So if we get this information out to them with little news clips, like, you know, informing them about these meetings, it's been working. I mean, at least I'm not the only one doing it. I know I follow other people who are doing the same thing. And I mean, you saw the primary results. Nobody saw that 2 people in the commissioner's court were going to be voted out. Commissioner Coronado is out. He got beaten by another Democrat. Obviously, those Democrats have Republican opponents too, so they're still in the race until November. But the other one was Stout. Stout, who had been there for 10 years, was also voted out, and now there's a new person who was elected. So again, I think if anything in the Republican primary or the primary races that we saw is that people are paying attention. And again, it's been the challenge of trying to inform the public that the commissioner's court has everything to do with your budget. And really, another thing that happened was that the Republicans and Democrats have aligned on one thing, and that is we do not want the deck plaza if it involves our tax dollars. So, yeah.
So did you figure out a way to build the deck plaza without using our tax dollars?
Well, I'm all for about investing and getting people who have money to come and invest in our city. Are we sometimes going to pay something? Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes. But when you're putting a project together as big as this one, and you can't even tell us where the money is coming from, then at that point you got to put a stop to it and say no. Like, you first tell us where the funding is coming. How are we going to pay this deck plaza? And again, the vote that happened today was about that, about an MOU between the city and the county and the Deck Plaza Foundation to continue going forward.
So an MOU is just like a contract of intentions? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So...
But and sorry to interrupt, so that's the way they presented. Mm-hmm. Like, this has nothing, this is not saying we're going to pay for it. The taxpayers are going to pay for it. But you keep moving it forward. You keep moving it forward, and by the time we reach the end, you're going to say, well, we're at this point. We can't go back now. So that's what I mean. Like, I think I am very happy to see that people are getting more informed, and they're letting their voice be heard.
Okay. All right. So your opinion on the Deck Plaza is what I heard you say, and please correct me if I got this wrong. You'd be happy to have it if we didn't use any tax dollars for it? Is there really a way to control that? I feel like every big government project ends up costing more than what was planned, and the people end up paying anyway.
No, I'm the same way. And when they talk about, well, we're going to get federal funding. Well, who's the federal funding?
Yeah.
We are too. Unless you get investors here, and this is where I think we need to go back a little bit, because our young people are suffering, really, but that's a whole different conversation. You know, social media has taken off, and it has removed from kids socializing with each other. And if we go back to the basics, like recently I went and supported a small business, a roller skating ring in the East Side. Like, I was back wearing skates. I remember back in, you're probably you're younger, but back in the 80s, those were the things that people used, the kids used, where you just go in circles and circles and you listen to music. And the owner was saying that they're very busy in the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's a small ring. It's not very big, but, you know, it's big enough. And so I thought, that's where we need to invest, get private investors to make businesses here to where they can go. Because when you think about the Deck Plaza, who's going to go to the Deck Plaza? I mean, yeah, they talk about, well, one commissioner said, well, during Christmas, they all come down here downtown. There was a pushback when we created the plaza, and now and during Christmas, everybody comes down here. Well, you know what? This Christmas, I wanted to go. And you know what prevented me? The big line going into downtown. Like, I thought, I'm going to be in that line for a good hour before. And I had a friend who was already inside downtown, and she said, if I were you, don't come, because you're not going to find parking. It is packed. So I never ended up going. So if we built this Deck Plaza, where are people going to park?
Okay, so Deck Plaza, you talk about investing in business in El Paso. You talk about the small business, this roller skating rink, which is super cool. What are some other businesses that need to be invested in?
So I think since I'm talking to a lot of business owners, one of the things, like I recently talked to a business owner, to a restaurant owner. She talked about, it was a brand new restaurant, and she said one of the biggest challenges was having to learn all the administrative work, like what it goes into running a business. And I plan to invest in that. I plan to, and when I say invest, is invest time. I'm not talking about money.
Yeah.
Where you bring business leaders, not that you're big business leaders, you're smaller, medium-sized leaders, and say, we're going to have quarterly meetings here. Come and talk to me. Like, tell me what you're seeing. What are the problems? What could we do to help you? Is it offering courses that are going to teach you how to administratively work through this? I had another business owner. I know I'm jumping around now. I had another business owner who told me, when you go and sell at Escarate Park, it is so expensive that sometimes I don't make the money that I put into it, because all these permits cost a lot of money. So guess what? I will have a meeting with all the businesses that go there to the park and say, okay, tell me, educate me. What is it that's causing this? Like, what is it that the permits that you are having to ask for? How much are they costing you? Because that's not fair. How can you have businesses going to a park where they're paying more money that they're not even getting? Why would you even go there? Yeah. I wouldn't go as a business owner if I'm not getting my money back. And so we have stopped talking to each other. And when I say we, I'm talking about the commissioner's court. I'm talking about county judge. Like, why isn't he out there? I tell her the same thing when I go to the restaurants in Sanelli, Socorro. When is the last time you saw the county judge walk these streets, eat at these small restaurants? And why is that important? It is important, because if you're not even out there, how are you making decisions that affect the regular person, the regular business owners? So that's what I'm going to do. I love to talk to people, and I'm not going to hide from people. I'm going to have these quarterly meetings with business owners to say, tell me, what is it? You know what? The greatest ideas come from regular people. And why are we preventing that from happening when you open up your doors and just talk to business owners? Great ideas can happen. What you have right now is the establishment. They're all making decisions for the rest of us, and it's not working.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to ask you, why are you so excited about the new data centers?
I don't think I'm excited. I'm very, very worried. I'm very, very worried because since I've been living here, since a long time ago, I can never water my plants or my yard on a given day. And I used to live in the Northeast before. This is before I joined the military. I would worry. I'm like, okay, am I watering in the right day? I don't want to get a ticket because they would give you tickets. So even now you can't water the plants every day.
Yeah.
And how did we go from that to having water for three databases? I mean,
okay, so three. Okay, so I know. Is it the Jupiter projects out in Santa Teresa?
In Santa Teresa.
Yeah, and then Mark Zuckerberg is setting up an office in El Paso. Well, I'm joking, but the Meta AI Center.
Yes, the Northeast one.
And what's the third one?
The one on the base.
Oh.
There's three. So where's all this water coming?
Is it Army AI? Is that what it is?
Well, it's the federal government, right? I don't know. I haven't looked into that one inside of like who's putting it together. But I'm thinking like, why are we allowing all this to happen? Like,
okay, so let me go back to what you were saying. You made a point that's very fair. We're only supposed to water our plants outside our house on certain days.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know some people, I'm not going to name any names, who might do it on the off days behind the walls in their backyard. I've heard stories. But it's true. Like our water is controlled to a certain point. Mm-hmm. And the data centers do use quite a lot of water. Mm-hmm. What are the numbers you're hearing about the amount of water these data centers will use?
1.5 million gallons on a peak day. Well, with our weather here, I would say every day is a peak day, right? That's a lot of water. And that's for one center. What about the other ones?
Okay, so I've heard different things about this, that they're going to recycle the water. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that?
Well, I've been asking about that because I've heard the same thing, but how does that work? And why aren't we having these conversations? So recently I attended the Cielo Vista neighborhood meeting, and just by luck, it was the water department who was having a presentation. So of course I'm like, oh my gosh, I have somebody here. I can ask all these questions. Like I'm like asking.
Were they happy to see you?
No, they were not happy. I was actually interrupted by the one leading. Said that's enough. He really was. He got up and he said that's enough. And I'm like, well, this is my opportunity. Like I've never had this opportunity to ask these questions. And again, I was very polite. I'm always professional. I was just asking questions because I am concerned. How is it going to work? And why aren't we having our elected officials have those meetings and tell us how it's going to work?
Right. Yeah. Are the contracts for those data centers, are they publicly, like, can we read them?
I would imagine that we can, if we ask them through a Freedom of Information Act, that you could probably ask for them. But are you going to even understand what they say?
Well, I don't know. I probably have to ask AI, which would be funny.
Or have an attorney there, right? But the county has an attorney, and so does the city. So why can't they do these combined meetings and at the same time invite somebody from the data center who can explain these? I bet you it would be well attended if they put that meeting together, because I would have first row, taking notes and trying to figure out, okay, please put me at ease. Like, put me at ease because I am very worried for the future.
Right. And is it 1.5 million gallons per day,
Per day.
on a peak day
On a peak
per data center?
Yes.
So that's 4.5 million?
So again, they're all separated. So I haven't heard the latest report from the one on inside the military base because that's been so recent. I've heard the one from the Northeast and Doña Ana because it's in New Mexico. I really haven't, heard much about it. But where do they get their water? They get their water from us, right?
Well, we all share the same sources. What about the effect on the impact on the electrical grid?
Mm-hmm. That's the other thing that they've been talking about. So, I mean, what is it going to do to us? I don't know. But, I mean, I have so many questions. There is a meeting going on this Wednesday, another community meeting where they're going to be talking about the data center. And I plan to attend that one because, again, I love to obtain information. I go to city council, which they're going to be having a meeting, not about at the data center. Tomorrow is about the deck plaza. But I really, I get my information from attending meetings and asking questions, and they owe us answers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find the whole thing to be interesting. What's interesting for me is I was telling you before we went on air that I was in Abilene over the weekend and visiting my middle son who's in college there, and I couldn't find a hotel room that was under $250 for a night. Very mid-range hotel room, and the reason is they're building a data center and all the construction workers come in from out of town and are filling up all of the hotels. And so it's hard to find a hotel room, and it's going to be like that for the next 3 years, which is probably a gold boom for the hospitality industry. But what's going to happen 3 years from now, or what's going to happen down the road when maybe the technology in the AI center will become obsolete, and we have these massive structures that we put all this investment in. So there's a lot of questions. I think probably every city's running after the money. The potential money of these centers.
But who's getting that money, right? Because now, again, because of the lack of transparency, it's like, who are they going to hire? Who are the contractors? Are they local or outside? We don't know. I don't know what's in the contract.
Yeah.
Are they going to cater to here to El Paso? And it's because it's my understanding that the only time that where it's going to create jobs is during the construction phase. Once that construction phase goes, I mean, there's different numbers that they say 20 people will man the location, 60 people, depending on the size. So is it really worth the tax incentives that we gave these companies? I mean, they don't have to pay property taxes for what, 20, 25 years?
Yeah.
So who's paying the taxes? We are. We the taxpayers. And that's what I mean. Like, we need to change that. Like, nobody's speaking on behalf of us, the people.
Right.
And that's why I'm out there and I ask these questions. I'm not afraid. I'm bold because, a lot of times, and I'm both on this meeting that I attended at Cielo Vista, that was there, Democrats and Republicans. I think the majority were Democrats. But that's one of the things that I said. We both, Democrats and Republicans, align on one thing: no more taxes. Like, we're taxed out of our own home. And even after they did stop me from asking those questions, two ladies from that walked by me and said, "Love the questions." Like, people are just like I said, we're just tired of no communication. Like, everything happens. You get these secret fees on your water bill or your electric bill or the property taxes. And it's like, oh, okay. But why?
Yeah.
It's our money.
Yeah. So I'm hearing all this. I guess it makes sense. But is it really possible to actually lower taxes?
So, that's another excellent question. So my opponent, who was back then the other Republican candidate, she would say about how she understood the budget, and she was saying that she was going to lower taxes. And I'm like, and I flat out told people, if people are telling you they're lowering the taxes, either they don't understand how it works or they're lying to you, because it's going to be very hard. But you know what? Because why? Because elected officials control the tax rate, but the market value controls how much our houses are worth, or they say they're worth, right? Because the CAD, the Central Appraisal District, will say your house is worth $500,000, but if you put it on the market, you're not going to sell it for that amount, but you're paying property taxes based on that. So again, and they point the finger at each other, because I served in the Appraisal Review Board right after, as I was retiring from the FBI. I wanted to understand. I wanted to go behind the scenes and see what's happening. So that's when I learned that people would go in there and they would say, I'm here because I want to fight my taxes. You know what CAD representatives would say? Time out. You're in the wrong place. We have nothing to do with taxes. If you're not happy with your taxes, go talk to your city representative or your county commissioner's court. Well, then you go to the county commissioner's court or city council. Oh, we're not increasing your tax rate. Go talk to Central Appraisal District. So they're just pointing the finger at each other, and it's like, no, that's enough. So to answer your question, you can hold the line and you can look at the budget and find unnecessary spending. Where can we cut back to protect taxpayers?
Okay, and we did get another comment on Facebook. Exactly, and the protest process is a sham. I feel like we could have a whole conversation on that. I think homeowners in El Paso understand exactly what you're talking about, and it affects renters too as well. But we could even lower the tax rate, but if the property values are increased, we actually are paying more out of pocket. And what you're saying is CAD and the city and county government are pointing fingers at each other. Is there a way out of that?
So you have to, as a homeowner, you have to prepare. And a lot of people don't know, because if I didn't serve on the Appraisal Review Board and I went and protested, I would have been completely lost by the process. So you have to go prepared. One of the things that I tell people, get a market analysis. Who gives you a market analysis? Most realtors, I would say probably maybe all of them, give you a free market analysis. So here's what, since I was an investigator before, this is how you can push back. When the Central Appraisal District tells you your house is worth $500,000, they don't have access to the real-time database that tells you how much those homes are worth. You know who does? Realtors. So if realtors give you a market analysis, they compare your home with 3 homes, now you go with that piece of paper and say, this is what a realtor told me is worth. But also, I mean, get prepared. Like I said, there's so much information that I don't want to confuse whoever's listening, but get receipts. Like, walk around your house and say, if I were to sell my house today, what would I need to fix? You know what? We had a leak in our roof, and it's near our home. It really happened to us this time with the rains. So we had to get an estimate of how much. So take that estimate with you and say, you know what? This is how much it's going to cost me. If I were to sell my home, I need to repair my roof. You submit that. Then you'd walk around, you say, you know what? I have a broken tile here. And if I were to sell it, they're going to make me repair my whole room. Well, I can't find that same tile anymore, so now I have to redo my whole room. Get an estimate. And you know, sometimes companies will charge you for giving you estimates, so you can do your own estimate. Go to Home Depot website, look at how much it's going to cost you, and then do a printout. Because somebody who sits in the Appraisal Review Board can't give you estimates. You have to be prepared. Also, another tip, when you go there, if they ask you, how much is your house worth? Don't say, I don't know. Because if you don't know,
they'll make it up for you.
Well, you can't come up with a number, because you're supposed to be in the middle. You can't take the Central Appraisal District, the homeowner side. So always have a number in mind of how much your house is worth.
Minerva, so appreciate you coming on today. We are completely out of time. If you just joined the tail end of this conversation, you can go back and listen on desertvoice.media. We've been with Minerva Torres-Shelton, Republican candidate for El Paso County Judge. Truly appreciate your time and coming in today and sharing about all these topics that are really close to all of us. As we always say, let's learn to love our city. I'll add today, let's learn to love our county, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory. This has been 915 Talk. You have been listening to 915 Talk, a production of Desert Voice Media. To listen to this or any previous edition of 915 Talk, just visit desertvoice.media and click on the 915 Talk link. Let's continue to learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.